What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? So, as I was saying in the last video for LRB Pun's showcase, we're going to test out a team setup. This is going to be the Super Strength team versus Extreme Physical part of the Super Battle Royale stages. Keep in mind, I brought in units that are considered free to play for the most part, and I intentionally made the leader LR Vegito Blue for the 70% boost versus the LR 1000 Day Goku, which is going to provide 100% overall. Just because I wanted to leave it open-ended and just show that it is definitely possible to beat it with completely free-to-play units, as long as you have the right setups. And for the friend, I did obviously include the LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta because he does provide a 120% boost to the Super Strength types as the secondary leader skill. So we're going to see how this team does overall, and there are going to be a couple of units on here that I wouldn't necessarily consider including. I just put them in there because that's one of the free-to-play units I had, and put in a lot of potential levels toward it, like basically 100% units. So for example, like the Super Saiyan Angel Goku that you see in the third slot is not necessarily one of the better units, but again, I included that unit just because it was a unit that is free to play within my deck, and I did have at 100% potential. So just keep that in mind. This is flexible enough. If you have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku unit, you could certainly include it as your leader. That's 120% versus 70% you're getting from LR Vegito Blue, so obviously a lot better. Again, I intentionally used LR Vegito Blue as leader just to kind of handicap things a little bit and test out if you can still actually beat it. So the Kid Goku unit you see in the third slot, I included him, and I consider him free to play because you do get him off the World Tournament banners. So it's essentially a free to play unit because you can get tickets out of running through the World Tournament. So in that regard, he's included. He's actually a pretty decent unit, and he does well when he's facing multiple enemies, so that helps out with that setup. Now, the whole point of this is to include LRB Pan in here and just see how she does overall. So again, she does have an active skill where it increases allies' attack by 33% for one turn. You can only use it once per battle, but if you do have units like you see with the LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as well as the LR Goku, ideal units to kind of enhance the attack in that particular rotation. So in that regard, it is pretty helpful. The LRB Pan unit is a very solid unit, especially for this setting, because you're looking at a high chance of reducing damage taken by 55%, as well as recovering 33% toward HP of damage dealt. So you'll see throughout the video that she is actually going to help quite a bit. And you saw the super attack damage. She only took 46,000 just a second ago. So it's going to allow for not only conserving a lot of HP, but also the ability to recover a ton in HP, and it's going to minimize the requirement to use items. So very good way to ration out items, and it's a very good unit to include on a setting like this. And this is partly why I wanted to do this video. And I decided to do this with just free-to-play units because at the end of the day, you can include very strong units like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I don't know, like EZA Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, all those units, and plenty of people I'm sure have cleared it with that setting. So I wanted to make things a little bit more difficult, just include strictly free-to-play units, and even handicap the leader skill a little bit, just to make it more reasonable for people that are either brand new or haven't really pulled the best of units within the summons or banners, and just kind of provide a pathway into there are ways, just show you guys there are ways to be able to clear these types of events, especially nowadays, because they've completely revamped the free-to-play portion. There are a lot of good units within the free-to-play criteria that are very good when it comes to specific scenarios, you know what I mean? So that's the whole point of this. I could easily run through a super strength team with the more powerful units, and it'd obviously be a lot quicker and a lot easier, but I definitely chose this method just to kind of provide a free-to-play format and more versatility into options. Again, this isn't the best of teams either, so some of the units included on here you could certainly replace with others, and you could certainly include units like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and whoever, and that's going to make things a lot easier as well. I just wanted to highlight LRB-Pan within this type of setting and see if we're still able to clear it. As you can see, the use of items is really minimized at this point because B-Pan is providing such a benefit to the team overall. Again, the ability to tank attacks by reducing damage by 55%, as well as recovering 33% toward HP from damage dealt. That is going to conserve a lot of HP, and even if you get hit, let's say your first two attackers are getting pummeled down, right, and you're losing quite a bit in HP, the simple fact is, she could easily do, like, let's say for simplicity purposes, like 99,000 of damage dealt, right? You're able to recover 33,000 of that because that equates to 33%. Obviously, if I'm doing the math correct, anyway, I doubt I am, but you get the point. 33% is 3 to 1 essentially. So you're going to be able to conserve a lot of item usage because of the functionality of what she brings. And if you're in a little bit of a bind, and you're looking to finish enemies off, activate the skill set she has, right there, what you see. You're going to increase allies' attack by 33% for one turn, and just let the rest of the guys handle the business. You know what I'm saying? So, it definitely does make things a lot easier. Another good thing about this unit is the fact that she doesn't fully require the key to be filled in order to get the 12 key or 18 key. The equivalent of that, is obviously like it ranges what the key type is, but you're going to be able to get the key off with minimal amounts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to take very little to actually get the key off. So the super attack, I mean. So it's definitely going to make things a lot easier in that regard. You could actually allocate more of the orbs to other units, and that way you can guarantee super attacks with other units. The one good thing about that Super Saiyan Angel Goku is it's a similar format. It doesn't really require a full key meter gauge to be able to get a super attack, so there are some benefits with that one. I gave that guy level 20 just a full focus on crits, so in that regard, that's how he's formatted. The LR Vegeta Blue, I went with 15 additionals and 11 for crit. The 1000 Day Goku is level 9 additional attack, level 17 criticals. The Kid Goku unit is level 12 additional attack, level 14 criticals. So you'll definitely see like different I guess like battle abilities is the best way to explain it, but the Goku unit is beneficial to, in my opinion, to give a little bit more toward additional attack. Obviously I went with a balanced approach, but he does well with multiple enemies, so in that regard, you might as well kind of. Honestly, I built him specifically for Battle Road because it's, at the end of the day, I don't really use him that often. So because I had enough dupes to rainbow the unit, and I wanted to see how he would do myself, I kind of built his potential levels specifically for Battle Road. So you don't necessarily have to go with that format, but it certainly does help to include units like that. The Easy A Kid Goku unit, I pretty much went with a full focus on additional attack. The reason being, I built its potential levels specifically for the Extreme Z battle events, and it varies, depending on the Vegeta unit or the Frieza Easy A, or Planet Namek Easy A. So, for those, he's going to get the type advantage regardless, so that's why I went with the additional attack on that setup. It's certainly debatable if you want to include a balanced approach or just go with full additionals for full criticals. I think it ultimately comes down to preference for that one. So just to clarify, that's kind of why he has a more heavier focus on additional attacks. And I'm going to tell you, I did make a few mistakes here, and that's the thing about Battle Road. If you don't do it often, you're going to slip up and make some errors here and there. It's just a matter of how much it's going to cost you at the end of the day. So That's kind of, you know, if you notice some things happen here and there, that's basically why. You know, for the most part, I didn't need to use any items up to this point, so it definitely does make a difference to include the LR Beepon unit. That should summarize how good of a unit she actually is. And for those that haven't cleared any of the Battle Road stages, you know, I know some people that haven't, and you know, whether that's because they're newer or they're just not getting lucky with the banners, you know, these types of units are definitely going to make it more viable to clear these types of events. And you know, Bandai is definitely doing a good job in terms of providing more versatility of units available within the free-to-play realm versus having to, you know, summon for units in order to, you know, clear some of the stages. Now, obviously, Hybrid Saiyans is going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say a little bit, it's going to be a lot more difficult with a free-to-play team, but the concept's pretty much the same. You know, LR Beepon is going to bring quite a bit of a benefit to the team overall. A lot of it is going to be down to damage mitigation and item consumption. The fact that she's able to, you know, not only tank attacks but also recover HP is going to make her quite a bit of useful unit. Not only that, but she does have a medium chance to stun the enemy with the 18 key super equivalent. So she does have a lot of skill sets within the card itself. It's actually incredible how much of a pack she actually a punch she actually packs. I don't know why I said it in reverse. I don't know. Maybe I'm tired or something. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. So obviously this isn't the ideal unit to get a Dokkan mode, but since it is a more focus on her, I just went ahead and decided to use the Dokkan mode with her. So again, she's a very helpful unit, makes things a lot easier. I didn't test out the super strength part of Super Battle Road in quite some time, so it definitely made things a lot easier. It felt like things were a lot easier compared to how they were in the past, so that should, I guess, tell you, you know, how much things have changed, and having units like this included definitely does help a lot. So again, the takeaway here is the fact that just remember that the leader is LR Vegito Blue, so you're only looking at a 70% boost to HP attack and defense. Now, there's a high chance that a lot of players have either Super Saiyan 4 Goku or a better unit that has a better leader skill. So, you know, even with this handicap, as long as you bring in Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, it's going to make things very, I wouldn't say very, but much more easier to be able to clear it. Now, obviously, it depends on what your overall deck is at the end of the day, but you know, this is more or less to serve as a way to give you an idea. You know, within the free-to-play type deal, you know, things get easier definitely, and especially LR Beepon is going to help a lot. You know, so. I know, like, technically the 1000-day Goku, it's going to be one of those units that are highly unobtainable, you know, for the most part, because you do have to log in for 1,000 cumulative days, but because I did include that unit on the team, I decided to go with a handicap of 70% with LR Vegito Blue's leader skill versus the 100% that the Goku unit provides. So hopefully that kind of balances things out, and you guys get a better idea of, you know, what replacement units you can include on the team versus what I ended up using as a sample, because at the end of the day, this is really what this is. It's just a sample to provide an idea of what kind of units you could include. Other units you could certainly include are, like, I would say, you know, on the top of my head would be the Riburan unit. She's obviously a free-to-play unit, so she definitely does have some benefit, you know, like HP recovery and whatnot, so she could certainly be a unit you could include versus some of the units I chose to include. So, you know, the options are definitely out there, and you don't necessarily need to keep it strictly free to play, you know what I mean? So you could include, like, more powerful units like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I don't know, like Jiren, you know, whoever, like, there's a lot of good units outside of just, you know, the sample size that you're seeing right now. So again, that's really what the point of this video is to just provide you some sort of, like, I don't know, I probably said sample like 20 million times by now, but you get the point. So that's really essentially what this is, and chances are quite a few of you guys have probably cleared this part of Super Battle Road already, but if somebody's new that's watching, that recently hopped on to Dokkan Battle and trying to figure things out, hopefully this does help provide a little bit more of a I don't know, guideline as to how to clear it. So even though I am using items, it's quite minimized for the most part compared to how it was initially when Battle Road was first introduced. I mean, when it first came out, it was quite difficult, and a lot of people had a lot of trouble clearing the stages. So things have changed quite a bit, and it's only for the better. You don't want to make it impossible to where it's just going to turn people off. Like, make it difficult, but only difficult enough to where you actually have to think about things a little bit. Now, if you're an absolute whale and have every single unit and have everything rainbowed, then obviously it's going to be a joke at this point, especially the type specific battle road stages. But you do have to consider that it's got to be achievable enough to where some of the newer players can attain it at some point. Now, it's obviously not going to be immediate, but at some point in the near future, you have to make it beatable. Otherwise, it's a little bit unfair. I will say the active skill definitely changes things up a little bit. You're looking at, and you'll see how much damage he does here, but you're essentially getting a free super attack out of it, and if you're in a bind, that could literally save your HP or save your team or save you from getting a KO. So it does change things up a little bit, and when more units are introduced with the active skill function, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they change up the not only like Battle Road and stuff, but Dokkan events in general. Like, they'll probably they're going to make things a lot more difficult, I feel like. So it's like a double-edged sword in a way. You're glad that these types of things are being introduced. At the same time, there's going to be a wider gap between newer players and veteran players. You know what I mean? Like with like the Dokkan events, if active skills are becoming commonplace and they do have to make Dokkan events a little bit more difficult, it could be potentially a little bit harder for newer players to be able to clear those Dokkan events. So it's a problem that we've all had starting Dokkan Battle, so I'm sure it's not going to be that bad, but just wanted to note that as my take on the whole introduction of the new active skill. It's great and it's a lot of fun, but it could be difficult later down the road for Dokkan events. So even if she doesn't get a critical, you saw about 278,000 in damage, 265 in damage. 33% of that is still going to add up to quite a bit in HP recovery. And I don't even know how much an HP this team has, like roughly about 300,000, I think. It's a little bit hard to see right now, but yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to recover a lot in HP, so it's going to help out a lot. So I think to close things out, the unit is definitely very helpful. I'm speaking of the LRB Pan unit. Very, very helpful unit. It's going to make clearing these types of events a lot easier. If you're not, if she's not that viable, at least she is on the type super strength type Battle Road, as well as the Hybrid Sands. I'll probably do a video on it at some point, but the concept's essentially the same. You're looking at a very good unit that supports in terms of recovering HP by damage dealt, medium chance to stun with the 18 key, and then rare chance to stun with the 12 key, damage reduced by 55%. So yeah, very good unit overall. And again, this is the free-to-play format with the Super Strength team on Super Battle Road, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, I do appreciate you guys watching.